everyone. A good evening to all my audience. You are welcome to Lermio's Empowering Women to Manage Their Menstruation Safely, Hygienically, and with Confidence. Today is an International Menstrual Hygiene Day, and it is observed on May 28th every year. Now, as part of the day celebration, Lereal is a non-profit organization that promotes personal hygiene, and today we'll be talking specifically about menstrual hygiene. And so, dear audience, we have Dr. Princess Abu Bonsrah in our midst. She's our guest, and she's going to take us through the education, or she's going to take us through menstrual hygiene. And we would like her to introduce herself. Doctor, I believe you can hear me, Doctor. Hello, Doctor. Doctor, can you unmute your microphone, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, Doctor, I can
So
hear you.
I think there is some background noise, so I switched to my headphones. I don't know if you
Okay.
can still hear me with the headphones.
Yes, we can hear you, Doctor.
Oh,
You're
that's great.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Doctor, I would like you to introduce yourself. We want to know
All
more
right.
about you, Doctor. So you tell us a little
Okay.
bit about yourself, give us a profile. Yes.
All right.
And then after that, you can start with the education. Yes, you can start with whatever you want to talk to us about.
Mm-hmm. All right. So my name is Dr. Princess Ebu Bonsrah. I'm a medical doctor, and then I am a specialist. I specialized in family medicine for 2 good years. Yeah, and I worked in Russia, that is the state called Novgorod State, or Veliki Novgorod. And the name of the clinic I was working at is called Gobustege Kebe Clinic number 4. That is the National Resident Hospital Clinic number 4. So I think I mentioned this name to somebody and they started laughing because they said Gobus is kind of very strange for them. Yeah, so it's Russian word. And as time goes on, if anybody is interested in learning this language, I'm ready to tutor you, give you free tuition. All right, and I have some free. I have gotten some kata. I have some flu. So if you can't hear me well, you just write in the message so that I will try my best and speak up. Yeah. Well, today I'm very honored to talk to you on this topic. All right, that is very delicate. So thank you very much for having me. First of all, special thanks to God for making this day happen for us to meet and talk about menstruation. So I'm wishing all the ladies here International Menstrual Hygiene Day. Well, if the host, Lady Sonia, will give me the go ahead, I can start with you from here.
Yes, Doctor, please, you can proceed.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much.
You're
So,
most welcome.
yeah, so International Menstruation Hygiene Day. I'm very happy to talk about it because this is a topic that so many people shun away from, no matter how far we go or how educated we are. So many people try to shun away from them. But today, we are going to discuss menstruation. What at all is menstruation in a medical way? We are also going to talk about menstruation in a social way. Our main objectives that we have here is that we can raise awareness about the challenges regarding access to menstrual products, education about menstruation, and period-friendly sanitation facilities. We also have the objective that we will be able to mobilize the funding required for action at scale. Okay. It is not acceptable that because of a natural bodily function, women and girls continue to be prevented from getting an education, earning an income, and fully equally participating in everyday life. Because of menstruation, people are deprived from their normal everyday life. As time goes on, we are going to learn that menstrual hygiene or menstruation comes with what? Mood swings, menstrual cramps, and so many things come along with menstruation. So we shouldn't be overwhelmed, and that shouldn't even stop us from going to our works or schools. So today we will include that into what? Our objectives. All right. Okay. How does menstruation affect our lives? How does menstruation affect our lives? In education wise, young people may miss school during their periods due to lack of facilities or necessary supplies. So, for the developing countries, people might miss school because of what? Menstruation. Not because of menstrual pain, but it might be because of lack of sanitary pads from their sides. So if they don't have sanitary pads, they will be infringed from going to school because nobody wants to go to school and soil their clothes. That is quite embarrassing. Yes, so um, we've added it to our objective that we will be able to educate the audience that apart from expensive sanitary pads, we can manage with reusable sanitary pads, especially for young students who are not um, able to have access to the facilities that are necessary for menstruation or sanitary pads. Okay. Economic wise, they may miss work if they don't have access to the supplies or facilities they need. So apart from school children who might miss school because of their periods, um, working class women too might miss work because of lack of facilities they need. Use of improvised menstrual health materials can lead to illness. So if you are menstruating and you don't have the neat, okay, or you don't figure in the menstrual health materials into your cycle, it might lead to what? Illness like what? Pelvic inflammatory diseases. Okay, so I have fixed it in our objective that at the end of this program, our audience may have a healthy life cycle during their menstruation. Dignity. They may suffer from discomfort, endure teasing and shaming, or face exclusion from everyday activities. So, gone are the days that women were exempted from going to church because of um, their periods. Yet, still, some women or ladies still face this shame or social exclusion when they are having their menstrual cycle. Maybe we are privileged to be in a society that do not frown against women having their menses. Some other less privileged societies are still going through um, shaming during their menses. Okay, all right. They may be distracted or less productive during school and other activities due to pain, discomfort, or fear of leaks. Um, Menstruation affects us in another aspect like participation. Most of the time we are distracted. Even We, the grown up ones who are used to menstruation, you might be sitting down and feeling so uncomfortable, thinking you have leaked or there is some leak somewhere or you've soiled yourself. All right. So this can also affect your everyday life during that time of the month. What are the benefits of period shame free society? So, by improving menstrual health and tackling period shame, we can improve girls' attendance and performance at school, break down taboos and misconceptions around menstruation, raise girls' self esteem, and enable girls to fully participate in aspects of society. Okay, so if we are able to encourage ladies, young ones, and even men to know that menstruation is part of our normal day life, okay, we will be able to help ladies and women to attend performances that won't affect their school life and also attend work which will not affect their work life and also break down taboos and misconception that is surrounding what menstruation. Okay, so first of all, this topic that I am discussing with you, I want to know if you understand it. What is menstruation? What do you think menstruation is about? Can I pass it to my audience or I should um, just go ahead and explain? What is menstruation? What do you think menstruation is like? I like I like I like asking questions. So
Okay, please, anyone that knows or wants to have something to say about the question should raise your hands and we'll allow you in. And as part of this, I think someone has volunteered that if any one of us is able to be interactive and talk more during the section, there is going to be a gift for the person. So we need three people. So if you are able to be interactive, then you have a surprise. And so that is why Doctor is doing this also. So anyone that have any idea about the question, what is menstruation, could bring up the idea or tell us what they know about menstruation. You can also, those on Facebook, those on Instagram can also leave a comment, and I would read it out to Doctor if we have one. You can also leave your comments and then you can answer via the comment section, and I would let Doctor be on the known. Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so my people, please, do you understand menstruation or you are just shy to talk? All right. So if we don't have any volunteer, I'll just go ahead. Menstruation is the regular discharge of blood. Okay. It's not only blood that is discharged. We can have mucosal tissues. Cyclic or what? Periodic. It is a cyclic or periodic slurring of the what? Uterine lining in response to interactions of hormones produced by the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and ovaries. So before menstruation begins, it starts from what? The brain. Okay, hypothalamus. Everything begins from the brain. The brain. It starts and then it says, "Yo, brain." Don't you think it's about that time of the month that our sister starts experiencing her menses? Okay, so everything that you see down there, it begins from what? The brain. All right. We also have to talk about the physiology of menstruation. The initial signals for menstrual cycle come from the what? Hypothalamus and anterior pituitary gland. Menarche, that is the first menstrual bleed, occurs between the ages of 10 and 16 years. So people have menarche. When we say menarche, that is the first day you see your menses. Some people see their menses at age 9, Others see it at age 10. Others do age 14 and 16. Okay, so menarche, you have to put it in your head that is the first menstrual bleed, and then the years it comes with. So if you are in your puberty, or if you have a little sister who is in her puberty, you can know that she is heading towards menarche. The menstrual cycle is divided into two phases. We have the follicular phase and the luteal phase. All right. A number of mechanisms appear to exist in order to limit the tissues, damage, and inflammatory processes of menstruation and to contain menstrual bleeding. So, during menstruation, we have two phases. We have what? The follicular phase and we have the luteal phase. All these mechanism helps for us to have what? A successful and non-inflammatory menstrual cycle. Okay, whatever you feel during your menses, some people complain of pain, stomach upset, and all that. It is not up to inflammatory or inflammation. All the hormones that is stored in your body, God created it in a way that it will prevent what? Damage or inflammatory processes during menstruation. So all these hormones are there to get you ready or prepare you for what? The menstruation. Okay, so that's the brief explanation of the physiology of what? Menstruation. All right. So before you menstruate, there is something called what? Ovulation. If you do not ovulate, you cannot menstruate. Okay. Um, as we head towards the lesson or today's discussion, I'll be very glad if each and every one of us listening to me will be able to calculate ovulation, his, I mean, her ovulation. And if you're a guy listening to me, you can be able to calculate your lady friends, your wives, or your sisters' ovulation. All right. So these are the signs of ovulation. And as I said early on, before one menstruates, ovulation has to what? Take place before. Okay. And I also said that we will be able to calculate ovulation at the end of our talk. So these are the signs of ovulation. Rise in basal body temperature. So if you have a thermometer during ovulation, you can see that there is a rise in your body temperature. Okay, not extreme high, but a slight rise in your basal body temperature. Okay. Also, um, we have cervical mucus or vaginal discharge. They may appear clearer, thinner, and stretchy like raw eggs white. So, um, so if you are a lady and you visit the ladies, okay, you visit the washroom and then you take off your panty and then you see that there's a discharge. This discharge in your panty is not, it does not smell bad, okay? It has a mucus nature, right? It appears clearer, like egg. Egg. We have the yolk and then the slippery part. That's how it looks like. Okay. So if you see that, you shouldn't be scared that you are getting an infection. It is just a sign of what? Ovulation. So when you are having ovulation, after ovulation, and you don't meet with any guy, that's when menstruation what happens. When I say you don't meet with any guy, I mean you don't engage in sexual activity with any guy. Menstruation can take place. The next sign of ovulation is breast tenderness. Okay, the breast becomes soft, and then sometimes you feel pains around the nipples during ovulation. We also have bloating. Some ladies experience bloating during menstruation. They become bloated. When I say bloated, it's like there is gas in your stomach. Okay, yes. And then another sign of ovulation is light spotting. That when you undress and then you see some light spotting in your pants, like blood spots. Okay, and then um slight pain or cramping in your side. So you can have some slight pain that is trying to tell you that menstruation is just on the way. That is, if you don't have sex, you are going to menstruate. Okay. So our next slide is preparation towards menstruation. All right. I talked about ovulation. Now, let's prepare towards menstruation. Yes, let's prepare for menstruation.
Doctor, can you please hold on? Nee,
Okay.
can you please mute your microphone for us? Doctor, please continue.
All right. So, many people, when they go to school, they saw themselves. When they go to work, they saw themselves. Why? This is because they did not really know when they are menstruating, or they couldn't really read their ovulation signs. That could give them a clue that they were having their what? Their menses. So, how are we going to know if we are going to have our menses or not? We have something called the menstrual calendar, okay? That when you trace or you track, you will be able to have a safe menstruation cycle. That is, it is also going to help you avoid unwanted pregnancies. That is, if you're not ready to have babies, you can actually plan on with the calendar. All right. So I'm going to really take my time and then break things down so that we'll be able to understand this calendar very well. Preparation towards menstruation and also tracing our how do we call it? We call it safe period, okay, and danger period. When you can have sex and get pregnant, for those who want to get pregnant, and when you can have sex and not get pregnant. All right. So, first of all, every woman should know their cycle. When I say your menstrual cycle, we have 21 to 35 days of what? The cycle. 21 to 35 days. But an average woman has a cycle of 28 days. The average woman, that is most women, have average cycle of 28 what? Days. So when I say 28 days, it means that after they have their menses on the first day, the next time they will have their menses will be what? After 28 days. So this lady is known to have what? A 28-day cycle. Unfortunately, some people have their cycle to be very short, that is 21 days. So it means that when they have their menses on day one, the next time they are going to have their menses will be after what? 21 days. Others have their cycles for very long. That is the 35 days cycle. That one, if they have their menses on day one, the next time they are going to have their menses is after 35 days. That is why some people have their menses twice in a month. It also explains why others can have their menses in a month and the next month they are going to miss it. Why? Because they have a 35-day cycle. So if you count the calendar, you know, some months and okay, February ends on the 28th day or 27th. Oh, sorry, yeah. So if a person with a 35-day cycle, okay, is having their menses in January, it means February, they are going to skip it because February ends in on the 28th day or 27th. You get it? All right. And those of us or those of you who have the 21-day cycle, the probability or the chance of you having your menses twice in a month is very high. So, if you experience something like that, you don't have to be scared, okay? You don't have to activate your adrenal glands. When I say you don't have to activate your adrenal glands, some people, when they are scared, they overreact. And when you overreact, you are going to even cause more harm than good. Okay? Whenever there is stress in your system, we have something called cortisol. The cortisol level will rise. When cortisol level rises, it gives way for other diseases to set in. Okay, so it is very advisable that women, especially of their menstrual age, avoid stress at all costs. When I say cortisol, okay, they are hormones that are located on the adrenal glands. So it is very advisable that we do not get stressed or get start panicking because of something very trivial like this, that somebody can actually sit you down and explain that there is no disease that is related to your symptom or your sign. It is just a natural phenomena. Okay, so let's see. Now let's use September for instance. All right, 30 days has September, so we use September in the cycle or in the calendar that we are going to use as an example. Somebody with a 28-day cycle. Let's use the 28. Why am I using 28? Because most women menstruate after 28 days. So we use the 28-day cycle, okay? But if you want to know your cycle, just you just have to really take notice of when you menstruate, okay? So maybe you menstruated today. Today is what? Today is 28th May. You write it down. It is very important to write the days you menstruate down. Okay, 28th May. That's your first day of menstruation. Then you track it. The next day of your menstruation should be what? 28 days from your first day of menstruation. So don't count it as the first day after you finish having your menses. That's how so many women count it and then they get confused. No, if whenever you have your menses, if you have it for 7 days, okay, count it from day one. Don't count it from day 7 that you finish your menses. All right. So just trace it. Maybe on the first time you counted, it read 28 days. The second time, okay, 28 days. The third time, 28 days. So that is what you write it down, that okay, I have a 28-day cycle. Somebody with 21 8-day cycle will start counting from day one. Maybe today is 28, 29th, 30th. Okay. We are in May. So May ends with what? 31 days. May has 31 days, right? Okay. So if May has 31 days, it means that let's count from today. Today is the day you had your menses. So we are assuming the person we are using has 5-day cycle. Okay. I mean 5 days when they menstruate. All right. So today is 28. Let's count from 28. 28, 29, 30, first and second. So you are going to end your menses in what? 2nd June. Okay. I'm using today as your first day of menses. So let's count together. 28, 29, 30, first, second. So the second is when you finish your menses. But if you are counting for your next menstrual period or when you begin your menses, you count from what? 28th. You don't count from the second. Okay? All right. So if you count and you get maybe 21 days, it means that for you, you have 21-day cycle. Don't compare yourself to Sister B, who has her menses for maybe 26-day cycle. Some people have their menses on 21-day cycle, others 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 to what? 35-day cycle. If your menses, if you count your cycle and it is more than 35, please visit your gynecologist. There might be a disease hiding in somewhere. And if it is less than 21-day cycle, that is, for instance, you had your menses, and then right after 12 days, you are seeing your menses again. That one too is pathological. That is, you have a disease, and then you have to see your gynecologist. Apart from that, you should know that every girl is special and unique in her own way. So if Sister A is having 21-day cycle, don't compare it to yours. Okay, so now let's talk about ovulation. Now that everybody knows their cycle, all right, for you to calculate ovulation, you subtract the average day. That is, maybe if you have a 28-day cycle, you subtract it from what? 14 days. So if you have your calculators, please bring them out, because we are going to do some basic mathematics here. All right. So my calculator is out here. Okay. I am going to do this with you. I know it can be complicated. So if you don't understand, don't hesitate to let me know so that I go over it again. So, assuming you have a 28-day cycle, and by the way, um, the normal days you can bleed in your menstruation or your menstrual cycle is 2 to 7 days. Once again, I repeat, the normal days you can bleed as a lady every month, okay, is 2 to 7 days. So if you are bleeding 5 days, it is normal. 3 days is normal. 6 days is normal. 7 days is normal. Don't compare yourself to Sister A or Sister B, who is having hers maybe 5 days and yours is 7 days. So you think you might have a disease. No. As I said early on, every girl is unique in their own special way. All right. So let's move on. You subtract 14 from 28. You have a 21-day cycle. You subtract 14 from 21. Okay. So let's use the 28. When you subtract 14 from 28, what do you get? 28 minus 14. So I'm calculating. You can also do your calculation. You subtract 14 from 28, you get 14. Okay? All right. We are calculating for what? Ovulation. As I said, before you menstruate, you have to what? Go through ovulation. And after ovulation, if you do not have sex with anybody, then you menstruate. So we are calculating for what? Ovulation. If you have a 28-day cycle, you subtract 14 from 28. Okay? Then, how many times does a sperm stay in the uterus after sex? Who knows? How many days does the sperm of a man stay in the uterus after sex? Who knows?
So you can ask on Facebook, you can answer on Facebook, you can answer on Instagram, and you can raise your hand or you can leave a message at the chat button.
Yes. Please, let's be interactive. Who knows the number of days a sperm can stay in a woman after sex? Yeah, come again.
Someone,
So if you come in, you mention your name so that I know who I'm talking with.
okay, Fatal, you can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself.
Okay. Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening, Fatima.
Yes, my name is Abdul Fattah.
Okay.
I I I, I get the duration that the sperm can stay in the uterus as 37 days.
Okay. So you guess it's 37 days. Fatal, right?
Yes.
Mr. Fatal. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So as he said, what he said is right. So we will use the average days. That is 5 days. Okay, 5 days. So we will take 5 days that when the sperm enters into the uterus, it stays there for what? 5 days. How many days? 5 days. So if you have already subtracted 14 from 28, you add what? 5 to it. So let's assume if you are looking at the calendar that um Ni02 has projected, let's assume you menstruated on Sunday. That is the first day. Now we are using the first day so that it becomes very easy for us. Okay. That's the first day is when you saw your menses and you are having a 28-day cycle. So you subtract 14 from 28. I had 14. So on the Saturday, then the days that the sperm can stay in the what? The uterus is 5, as you said. So you count from 14, 13, 12, 11, and 10. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you count with me? Okay, so when you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it reaches the 10th day. So all these days, when you have sex, you are safe. You won't be able to get pregnant. Apart from these days, all other days you can get pregnant when you have sex. So some people ask, why is it that I'm having my menses and then I had sex with my husband and then I'm pregnant, even though I was having my menses? It's because your fertile days fall under what? It falls, your fertile days will fall under the days you are actually having your menses. And it naturally occurs for people who have a shorter day of 21-day cycle. Most of the time, people with 28-day cycle or 30-day cycle, it doesn't really happen to them. But people with 21-day, that is very short. So before you subtract 14 from 21 and then you add your 5 to it, then you subtract, it means that sometimes you can have sex when you're having your menses and get pregnant, which is not really common, but it can happen. Okay. So for people with 21-day cycle, 21 minus 14 is 7. Okay. So let's get back again. So I'm calculating for a person with 21-day cycle. The person menstruated on Sunday. That is the first day, right? Was the day the person menstruated. And then maybe the person has a 5-day cycle. So when I say 5 days when the person menstruates, so when I say 5 days, it means that the person started bleeding on Sunday. Monday, the person will bleed. Tuesday, the person will see blood. Wednesday, the person will see blood. Thursday, the person will see blood. So 5 days, okay? All right. So 21 minus 14 is 7, okay? So um, is 7. This is where the 7 falls. That is on the Saturday. And then we count minus 5, 5 days backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the third day, this person can have sex and what? Get pregnant. As I told you, the person can have sex and get pregnant. Why? It's because the person has a short cycle. That is a 21-day cycle. These people, when they have sex during menstruation, they have a higher chance of what? Getting pregnant. But it doesn't really happen because most ladies, an average lady, have a 28-day cycle. Okay. So, apart from these days that I counted backwards, any other day that you have sex, you can also what? Be free. You can have free sex. Do you understand? Okay. So now let's move on. The next slide, menstruation calendar, as I explained. Some people have 2 days of menstruation during their menstrual cycle every month. Others have 3 days every month. Others too have four. Other ladies have 5 to 7. As I said early on, if you see your menses um, for 2 days, you don't have to um, be panicking, because most of the time when you panic, you add more stress to your system, and then you end up getting things, diseases or pathologies that was not even in there. Okay, so some people are naturally anemic. Some people, when I say anemia, people with low blood or hemoglobin, it is very difficult for such people to have maybe 7 days in their cycle, because you don't have enough blood. So where are you expecting the blood to what come from? Some people too, they don't like drinking water. They are so dehydrated. And you know, water makes a big composition when it comes to blood. Okay. More than 70% of blood is made of water. You don't drink water, you are so dehydrated. So you don't have to compare yourself to people who have enough hemoglobin or stay hydrated, and then complain that maybe you have a disease because you are just having 3 days, while your sister is having maybe 7 days. Okay. All right. And if you are menstruating too much, that one too, it is scary, because it is the average person can menstruate from day 2 to day 7. So it is not normal for you to be menstruating more than 7 days. All right. That one too, you have to check. Maybe you are living a different unhealthy lifestyle, like smoking, gaining weight. You can start losing weight or stop bad addictions, and then you'll be cool to go. You might come back to normal when you correct some of these things. All right. So menstrual health and hygiene. Okay. According to World Health Organization, menstrual hygiene management is defined as women and adolescent girls who are using a clean menstrual management material to absorb and collect menstrual blood that can be changed in privacy as often as necessary, using soap and water for washing the body as required, and having access to safe and convenient facilities to dispose the used menstrual management materials. Okay? All right. They understand the basic facts linked to menstrual cycle and how to manage it with dignity and without comfort, discomfort, or fear. So when World Health Organization has a broad definition for menstrual hygiene or menstrual health, that you can use materials that can what be able to absorb and collect your menstrual blood. Why is it very necessary to consider the material that you use for menstruation? It is very necessary because um, if the material you are using is not able to absorb the blood, it can make you very uncomfortable. Okay, because you are scared your blood is going to leak at any time. And then if you are using material that is highly absorbable, that is anytime you menstruate, the blood that comes into the material absorbs at a very high rate, that one too is not good, because it is not going to help you what change often. And then it is advisable that every girl who is menstruating will change every 4 hours. Okay, all right. So if you are using a material that is highly absorbable, it means that you are not going to change often, which can also serve as a site for breeding infections. All right. Also, World Health Organization has defined menstrual health and hygiene as being able to what change in privacy as often as necessary. So if we are considering the privacy aspect, Okay, that is being comfortable to have the right to privacy, to change as often as necessary. Okay, um, we are not able to achieve the definition of World Health Organization if our ladies are not having access to privacy or a room that they can change as often as necessary. And also, we have to consider in using soap and water for washing the body as required. How many times do you think you have to shower during your menses? Yes. How many times? This is a very easy question, though. So I'm expecting a lady to answer. How many times do you think you should wash yourself or shower during menses with soap?
Please, you can leave your answer via Facebook and the chat.
Okay.
Okay,
Let
so
me
someone
see.
answered. Edna. Edna says 2 times.
Yeah. All right.
Edna
Edna.
says 2 times. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Edna, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. So that's correct. 2 times. Some people too, if you have access to water, you can shower 3 times. Okay. Yes. Because you are dealing with blood, and then you want to get rid of any clotting factors. So some people, when they have their menses, they clot a lot. Okay, so you also want to consider all these things, and also add soap and running water. Yes. So the World Health Organization included right to privacy using the type of material management for menses, moderate absorbing materials, not highly absorbable and not poorly absorbable, but moderate one, and also having the right to privacy, soap, and then water. All right. And also, let's not forget um, how to dispose our menstrual materials. Okay, so World Health Organization chipped in into the definition of menstrual health that after we've achieved all these things like showering often, getting a moderate absorbable material for menses, having access to privacy, good water, and soap, we should also consider how to dispose their menstrual management materials. It is very important. I will go ahead and explain to you how you can wrap your pads after you use them before you dispose them, as the slide. So, World Health Organization defined menstrual health and hygiene as the ability or the fact that menstrual cycle has to be managed with dignity and with comfort without fear. Okay, all right. So, you have to practice healthy habits during your period. Good menstrual health and hygiene practices can prevent infections, reduce odors, and help you stay comfortable during your period. It is very important that we notice that when we try and figure in uh, hygiene factors during menstruation, we are not going to be smelling bad. You see, some people, unfortunately, do not know that during menstruation, they have to shower twice, they have to change their pads every 4 hours. Or few, if you are somebody who flows heavily, you can change it even less than 4 hours. Okay, some people do not know, so they work around and carry bad odors. Okay, during their menstruation, they'll be carrying bad odors, and then it can breed infections. Okay, so good menstrual health and hygiene practices can prevent infections. It can reduce odors and help you stay comfortable during your period. You can choose many types of menstrual products to absorb or collect blood during your period. We have the sanitary pads, we have tampons, we have menstrual cups, we have period underwears, we even have menstrual discs, yes, and we have reusable menstrual pads. That reusable menstrual pads, if you wear them, um, you will be able to reuse them again. Just that right after you take the pads off your panties, you make sure that you wash them very well. You soak them in cold water first, and then you wash them in a next pan, a different new pan that is different from what you soaked the used pad from. Okay, a very different pan from that one, and then you wash. When you wash, make sure that you wash really well, and then without sun, you cannot dry this pad. Make sure that you dry it very well in sun. Do not dry this in your rooms. For those of you who think it is something you should shy away from, hanging your pads in the sun, you don't want anybody to know that you're having your menses and you are shy to hang it in the sun. You're actually causing too much harm to your reproductive organ. Why am I saying that? You are going to breed infection and it will cost you so much money to treat. Okay. You are using the reusable parts because you want to be economic here. But right now, you are causing more harm than good. Why? Because you are not hanging the parts in the sun. Now you will have infections, and then treatment will be very expensive compared to the pad that you could have bought. So, girls, please let's be wise. And then, if you are using the reusable pads, hang it in the sun. Not only reusable pads, I'm using this opportunity to advise the ladies listening to me that um, the sun is very powerful for it's very natural agent, powerful for what? Combating or fighting against all these infections like candidiasis, pelvic inflammatory disease, the bacterial causing agent. When you hang them inside, you are very safe. Okay. Okay, so it's not only during our menstrual days, but also we have to make sure that you use the sun to dry all your intimates, like your panties, your underwears. All right. Wash your hands before and after using the menstrual product. So I know that you wash your hands before using the restroom and before using a menstrual product. So I know that you wash your hands after you change your pads. But please, do you wash your hands before? It is very, very advisable that before you even take your pad and unwrap it, before you put it in your panty, make sure you wash your hands with soap. Okay? Yes. So wash your hands before using the restroom and before using your menstrual product. So if you are somebody who wants to use sanitary pad, wash your hands before unwrapping the pad. Okay. If you want to use the tampon, wash your hands before opening it up. If you want to use the menstrual cup, wash your hands with soap. Wash the menstrual cup too before you fold it and then insert into your vagina. Menstrual underwear is quite easy to use. You wash your hands and then you use it. Okay. All right. Discard used disposable menstrual products properly. Wrap them with toilet paper, a tissue, or other material, and then toss it in a trash. Please, when you remove your menstrual or menstruation products, okay, your pads, your sanitary tampons, or your sanitary pads, make sure you wrap it, you fold it, you wrap it, you put it in a toilet paper or the plastic it came from. Okay, you wrap it well, and then you put it in a trash bin. Do not flush the products down the toilet. You don't want there to be flood. I think flood is the last thing that you want to encounter at the toilet. Okay, so make sure you don't flush the menstrual products. Put them in your rubbish bin. All right. Sanitary pads. Change your sanitary pads every few hours. All right. If you are somebody who has a very light flow, that is when you have your menses, it doesn't come that much. Don't think that because you are not flowing heavily, you don't want to change it after 4 hours. Our main aim for changing the pads is not because we are scared it might leak, okay? It's because we want to prevent bad odor and possible infections. Okay, so no matter how light you flow, still, please change your pads every 4 to 6 hours. Okay, if you think um, sanitary pads is expensive, so you wouldn't be changing every 4 to 6 hours, just think about it very well. Will it be um, will it be more expensive if you start treating infections, or will it be more expensive if you just change your parts every 4 to 6 hours? I think this question is rhetorical. So just think about it and choose what is safe for you. But my advice is that do not let your pads stay with you for more than 6 hours maximum. And then if your period is very heavy, that one you have to really change them frequently because you have heavy periods and you don't want to leak. And if you are on tampon, that one it can be there for 48 hours. But you can't wear tampon for more than 8 hours at a time. Use the lowest absorbency tampon needed. If you wear one tampon for 8 hours without changing, the absorbency may be too high. So, if you are buying tampon, you have to check the absorbency too. That is, if it's going to absorb your menstrual blood and without leaking for more than 8 hours, then it means that you're not using the right tampon. You have to change it. All right. Some people too like menstrual cups. They say that it is for Michelle Obama and the big bosses. You get it. So people who wear menstrual cups, um, they say that it is very safe. When I say menstrual cups, it is like funnel, okay? But it is very soft. It's like a soft, round material. It comes in different colors. You can hold it, fold it into any shape that you want. Before you insert a menstrual cup, make sure it is very neat, all right? And then you fold it, then you put it into your vagina. Make sure you fix it very well so that it doesn't disturb your daily activities. It is not painful wearing menstrual cup. It is very normal and very safe. One advantage of wearing menstrual cup is that when you use it during your period, you don't have to worry about disposing um, the blood because you just have to what? Wash the blood out of the cup. Okay? And then you put it back there. You also don't have to worry about the cost of sanitary pads because you can use one menstrual cup provided you rinse it very well and you keep it dry. Okay. All right. You also have to sanitize your menstrual cups after your period is over by rinsing them thoroughly and then placing them in boiling water for more than 2 minutes. Okay. People too can go for period underwear. Most reusable period underwear is machine washable. So you just have to follow the directions on how to clean the period underwear. You can use washing machine to wash that period underwear. All right. So Menstrual hygiene. Okay, so for somebody who doesn't know the reusable parts, is some of them come in a form like pampers with the wings and everything. And it is like you know how the nature of pampers, just that this is kind of plastic in nature. So when you wash it, everything can what wash off. Because I think some people might be wondering, how can I wash a sanitary pad? Won't it fade or fleek or something? No, you can wash it. It's safe. The only thing that you have to consider is drying it under the scorching sun. Okay. Menstrual hygiene is key in promoting good health. So, these hygiene practices can help you stay healthy and comfortable during your period. During your period, you have to wear cotton underwear, okay? Not only during your period, you always have to be wearing breathable underwears or clothing. You also have to wear lightweight underwear so that you don't sweat over there, right? You know how you smell bad when um as example, your underarms. You smell very bad when there you wear too much heavy things that is not lightweight. Okay. So how much more if your underarms is smelling bad like that because of heat and moisture, how much more your intimates, okay? Because that part it doesn't really have access to the air like your upper body part. So tight fabrics can trap moisture and heat, allowing germs to thrive. So it is very possible that if you're having your menses, you don't wear tight things. Okay, let your body breathe. Okay, let whatever you wear be not too tight. Wear lightweight and breathable cotton, not only underwear but clothes too. All right. Because if you don't do that, you can trap moisture and heat, allowing germs to thrive. And also, if you don't change your menstrual products often, you can trap moisture. You know, wherever there is moisture, it serves as a breeding ground for fungi and bacteria. So, if you wear a pad or period underwear for too long, you can get some people get rash, yeah, and also infections. You all know some of the symptoms of infections. You start having burning sensations when you pee. You can have itching around